Hey, gang, there are so many important issues to discuss in today's political, cultural, and economic climate, and I can't discuss them all here. In fact, YouTube and big tech won't let me talk about it all here. And that's why I have exclusive, uncensored live streams on Monday nights to cover everything. On Monday nights, I share all my thoughts and answer your questions in an in-depth, casual format that prepares you for this upcoming election with the truth. Today, I want to show you a quick clip from a recent stream that I hope will help you think clearly about these important issues, as well as encourage you to join our movement. Join an upcoming exclusive live stream, and I'll answer your questions by clicking the link in the description below and joining our community of courageous patriots building a parallel economy. I look forward to seeing you over there.
Elizabeth wants to know if you would agree that a large part of evangelicals in crisis is due to our pouring most of our efforts into foreign missions and neglecting being salt and light at home, sort of a religious version of the secular globalists.
Hey, gang, you know that our good friend Mike Lindell is always looking for ways to solve everyday problems, and his latest stroke of genius involves our towels. Have you ever picked up a towel set precisely because it felt really soft in the store, but then when you go back home to use it, it's not very absorbent? It gets soaking wet when you're trying to dry yourself off after a shower? Well, no more. MyPillow's developed the brand new MyPillow towels, and they're absolutely amazing. The 6-piece sets have 100% long staple Sherpa cotton. It's a combed ring spun cotton that makes the towels softer and more absorbent than ever, which of course means that the towels actually dry you. And right now, you can receive a 6-piece set, get this, for only $29.98 with promo code Turley. That's right, 6 towels for just $29.98. Just click on the link below and make sure to use promo code Turley. Go ahead, treat yourself, treat the patriots in your life, make it Christmas early. That's mypillow.com/Turley. Yeah, Elizabeth, that's kind of cool because it goes full circle with what we were talking about with Mike Pence and that kind of conservative Christianity. I do. I think modern day evangelical Christianity really dropped the ball when it came to culture. We not all of us. Again, there was a big wing of us. This is how I actually became a Christian back in 1994, through the Christian Coalition. Through the Christian culture war movement, for lack of a better term. We really were, there were two kinds of, there were more than that. But there were basically two kinds of Christians. There still are two kinds of evangelicals. One was the culture war side that really wanted to engage culture and bring a distinctive Christian culture to bear in the public square. And then the other side was more trying to get along with the broader secular culture, just kind of use whatever we had in common as a bridge to create a seeker-sensitive like relationship and with the secular world. And the last thing you want to do, the major thing that disrupts that seeker sensitivity, is offending them. That's why so many of our pastors are so scared to death of offending potential parishioners and the like, and scaring them off, which again is absurd if you think it through, because if you just push that out to its logical outworking, you get liberal, you get rainbow flags flying in front of your Episcopal church. That is the epitome of not wanting to offend the culture and seeing the culture as having actually the moral high ground. And then this bizarre hubris that for some reason they would want Christianity, that we have to make sure we embrace, we're an inclusive church and embrace everyone. Well, why do you think anyone would want to go to that institution? What's the point if it's all it's doing is it's not transforming culture, it's just following culture, so it's culture that's transforming it. So I think we dropped the ball. I think that became the majority. And the Christian activism, the Christian conservatism, Christian coalition, moral majority, was actually denounced by a lot of pulpits as being offensive and turning people away from Jesus. That's the idea. And then, yes, and then I think we dropped culture. All you have to do is go into any church today, and please don't be offended by this. But you go to any church today, and most of them, you can't tell the difference between a church and a movie theater at this point. I mean, they're just entertainment based. They've been mallified. They look like malls at this point. And you might feel like, well, I feel comfortable there. Okay, that's fine, but you're not building culture doing that. And we saw, Hannah and I would see this a lot in the classical school world, where I'm trying to teach students about the objectivity of beauty, but then they would go to the classical Christian conception, the objectivity of beauty, but then they would go to their churches and they get total aesthetic relativism. There is no such thing as objectively beautiful music that's more beautiful than another form of music. No, it's all the same. It's all a matter of taste. Well, that's cultural relativism. You've screwed any possibility of transforming the culture at that point. It's gone. It's gone because the whole basis for transforming culture is to say this culture is good and right and ought to be embraced. That's why we don't have a border, right? Why have a border when all cultures are relative? Why have a border? What makes your culture so great? You can't say your culture is any better than any other culture. So our churches embrace that. And it's largely because we privatized the faith and private, in other words, we pushed the faith out of the public square and put it into the place of consumerism. But consumerism is by definition subjective. And so we've watered down the gospel to a very subjective message because that's the place in society we've consigned it. So I think you're right. I don't even think it so much related to world missions, although we could bring a globalist kind of emphasis there, where it's almost like a faux piety of, I spend so much money on evangelizing people 10,000 miles away. When in point of fact, my culture is desperately sick right now and needs to be evangelized here. But it can only be evangelized if we recapture the language of culture again. So that's why we spend so much time talking about the sacred and political relationship to the sacred, and the family and community, faith, family, and freedom. This is a distinctive kind of culture that is beautiful and that is good and that is true and should be defended and not relativized as, that's just your personal opinion of what's a good culture. All cultures are equal. No, it doesn't work that way. Now, that doesn't translate into the globalist sense of now we get to tell cultures what to do. When you get into the civilizational geopolitics, that requires some savvy to be able to work with many different civilizations and many different cultures. But you don't have to go into cultural relativism that says all cultures are equal in terms of their truth, goodness, and beauty. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed that clip of my Monday night Insiders Club live stream. Join us live next week by clicking on the link in the description below and joining the coalition of patriots worldwide building a parallel economy to return to our roots of faith, family, and freedom. Click below right now.